August 17th is a critical day for the 8th Air Force because two air raids 1 year apart shows how hard it is to knock an enemy out of warfare. It shows how everything can be good when done right and shows how bad it can be done wrong. During the 1930s, a spokesperson of Strategic Air Assault within the U.S. Army Air Corps were persuaded that a force of bombarders defended by the firearms and aerial formation to offer backing could destroy the objective in a rival country and put them out of warfare. This vision carved Air Corps and doctrine and led to the establishment of the 8th Air Force shortly after America's entrance into World War II on December 8, 1941. The 8th Air Force, which was conducted out of England, was tasked with the mission of wrecking Germany's ability to make warfare by carnage the factory that produced tanks, planes, guns, and materials that supported Hitler's forces. It came into being January 1942, but adjusting, equipping, and fielding such as force of bombers took moment. The first contingent of USSAF personnel arrived in England in May 1942 and would not fly the first mission until August 7th. On that day, a force of 18 Boeing B-17E Flying Fortresses from the 97th Bomb Group at Polebrook, England took off to attack the rail yards at Rueil-Sotteville in northern France. Led by Brigadier General Ira Eaker of Pontotoc, Texas, aboard a B-17E named Yankee Doodle, the raid sent 6 bombers down the coast as a diversion, while a force of 12 aircraft hit the rail yards, dropped over 19 tons of bomb, and achieved textbook accuracy, including a direct hit on locomotive shop. The bombarder made it home with no losses and only 2 sustained damage. Mission 1 for the 8th Air Force went down in the books as a major success and appeared to validate pre-war theories on strategic bombing. 1 year later, August 17, 1943, the 8th Air Force would launch Mission 84, which, like Mission, would go down in the books a very different reason. Mission 84 was to attack the ball-bearing plant Schweinfurt and the aircraft plant Regensburg, Germany, and the result was one of the most costly raids in history. Mission the year before, the dual strike team was going deep into Germany. This shows how much the 8th Air Force has grown in 12 months. Unfortunately, there was no true escort pilot. This left the bombers exposed to Luftwaffe's fighter interceptors for at least an hour to the target and an hour and back. It would be 2 fateful hours. A force of 7 bomb groups led by Colonel Curtis LeMay that attacked the Messerschmitt plant at Regensburg came under German attack within 15 minutes of crossing the European coast. Of the 2 of P-47s that were to protect the force, one showed up late and they could only stay with the bombers for about 15 minutes before leaving to head home. For the next 90 minutes, the bombers were savagely attacked by the German fighters, and by the time they reached the target, they had lost 15 aircraft. After bombing, the B-17s turned to south to land in North Africa. When the cost was counted, the Regensburg group had lost 24 aircraft and their crews, and almost half of the 121 surviving aircraft were severely damaged. For the 9 bomb groups going to Schweinfurt under the command of Brigadier General Robert B. Williams of Albany, Texas, the story was much the same. Launching later in that day, while following the same route into Germany, the force encountered the same fighters that had hit the Regensburg force in the morning. This time, more than 300 Luftwaffe interceptors took on the unescorted bombers, and 22 B-17s fell before even reaching the target. Over Schweinfurt, 3 more bombers were lost to anti-aircraft fire, and on the way back to England, another 8 were lost to the fighters, which concentrated on damaged stragglers. When the Schweinfurt force landed in England, there were 36 empty parking spots where B-17s had sat that morning, and over 360 empty bunks in the barracks. For the 8th Air Force, the results of the August 17, 1943 raid could not have been dire. 60 bombers were gone, and with them 564 men killed or captured, while the Messerschmitt plan at Regensburg was heavily damaged. The damage to the ball bearing factors at Schweinfurt was light and only an estimated damage of 34% loss in production, most of which was immediately made up for reserves. Because of the failure knocked out Schweinfurt, another mission had to be flown in October 1943, and that one would go down in the record as the most costly raids in history, with a loss of 70 bombs. The outcomes of the two invasions flown on August 17th, 1 year apart, could not have been more different. The first, with a modest force and the modest expectations, was an unqualified force, until the landing of the P-51 Mustangs to escort the bombers all the way to the target and back. Losses like those on the raid of August 17, 1943, would show how hard it would be to beat Germany with strategic bombing alone. It was a costly lesson, surely.